Hi, welcome to the kitchen. My name's Brendan. Today we're going to be making some ginger lemon mead. Been making this for a while and it's really good. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get a cutting board and a good quality knife. And I have a few roots of ginger here. I'm going to slice them up and we'll be putting them in a blender. So what you want to do is just look over the root, see if there's any bad parts. And we're just going to cut it up into chunks that the blender can easily handle. Looking for any bad parts on the root that could be contaminated with bad, rotten type stuff. That chunk. And some people will skin their ginger first, but that takes away a lot of the ginger meat. So once we have that all ground up, or chopped up rather, once we have that all chopped up, we're going to get our blender, and we're going to put it all in our blender with a little bit of water. This is the first time doing it this way. I usually use a coarse grinder and I grind it up. That should be about good. There we go. Jesus. There we go. Oh yeah. It smells so much more like ginger than it has in the past. So next we're going to fill kettle with water. We're just going to let that fill for a little bit. And we are going to bring it to not quite boil, kind of like a tea, and we're going to let it steep. So we are also going to be adding 2 lemons to this. Got a few lemons here. So what you want to do is you want to cut it in half. We're going to squeeze these lemons into what's going to steep, but we're also going to throw the rind in there as well. So bring that up to a simmer. And while we're bringing that up to a simmer, I'm going to squeeze in my 4 lemons. Try to get all that lemon juice in there. All of the meat that you can. I've got a wound on the top of my finger there that I'm starting to feel. And we want this just below boiling. A good steeping temperature. Just below boiling. When we get it just below boiling, we'll add the ginger mixture that we have here. There we go. So now that we have it just below boiling, we're going to add in our mixture here. We're going to let that sit. Make sure that we get as much ginger in there as we can. Great. We're going to let that boil, steep for about an hour, let it come back down to room temperature, and when that's ready, we'll be back. While we were away, I went ahead and got my yeast going. That is a Lalvin D47. I also went ahead and I sterilized all of the equipment that we're going to use to measure our alcohol by volume. I also added yeast energizer to the yeast to let it help go. So now what we're going to do over here, I've got a strainer over a bucket, and I'm going to be pouring the mixture over that to get out all of the little bits that we don't really need. I'm just going to go ahead and pull out the lemon rinds to make it a little bit easier here. Squeeze them, get every ounce of juice possible. There we go. Alright, now we're just going to pour the mixture over the bucket, over the strainer. That's going to strain out all of the lemon pulp and all of the ginger root. Well, there's some of the ginger root. That didn't work out as planned. You're still sterilized. You can sit it there. Alright, let's rinse this out and try that again. Okay. Alright, my bucket's re-sterilized. Let's try this again. Going to try to strain out everything here. Let's try securing this end with the metal clasp. And that way it can kind of hang there. Now we'll try this again. Oh, there we go. Worked out much better that time. We want to scrape all of the bits out because it's all full of juice and we want to squeeze it in. So I'm squeezing it through a fine mesh strainer to get out every last drop possible. Now without dropping it this time, I'm going to take this and set it up there. And there's that portion. Okay. Rinse this off because what we're not wanting to do is we're not wanting the natural yeast that grows on everything in life to be a main contributor. We are wanting the Lalvin yeast to control everything. There we go. Got that secured there. Alright. And I forgot, give me one moment. There we go. I forgot, crucial part, power drill. Because I have a mixing spade that connects to a power drill to make mixing in a 5-gallon bucket much easier. However, we're not making a full 5 gallons, we're making 2.5. If we round up, we'll call it 3. So this is just a pot that I had some hot water sitting in over the stove that I was warming the honey in because honey flows much better when it's warm. And in here, from my local brew store, I have 6 pounds of clover honey, which I'm just going to pour into that. We're just going to let that drain out into there, and we'll start mixing it here in a moment. For the most part, that is done. Rinse this out a little bit, and a lot of people say you need to use purified water. We're making this one a little bit different. We're blending the ginger instead of using the cheese grater, and I'm just going to use sink water to see how it tastes, because nothing here is a fine art. It's all on its own and learning new ways of doing things. The issue is I've been making a lot of 1 gallon stuff, and you can't really share that with anyone. You make it and you get about 9 beer bottles out of it, or 2 to 3 bottles of wine, and that's all you get, and that's not a lot to share with anyone. So I have that now. We're going to hook up our power drill, and we're going to mix this. And mixing this, you are getting air into the system. Yeast wants air to live. Go. We're going to hold this out. We're going to set it down for a moment. There we go. Alright, and next, before we go any further, we are going to measure our possible alcohol volume here. Like I said, everything has been sterilized, some things re-sterilized. And I use Star San to sterilize everything. Get one more here. Alright. See what this measures out at. There's a little bit of bubbles in it. Bubbles mixed out. I'm going to add a little bit more in here just to help that bobber float a little bit better. There. That's much better. There we go. Get the bubbles out of the system and see what we're sitting at. Uh, 1.090, roughly 10% if it finishes out as such. Yes, 1.090. There we go. Settle that in there to be cleaned. Add that back to our wort mixture. I don't know if you can call it that. I'm going to call it that. I do want to check the temperature of that just before I add the yeast, because if the yeast is too, or if the concoction is too hot, it will just kill off the yeast, and we don't want that. Switch that over to Fahrenheit and just see what we're sitting at here. 86 even. Are we going to go any higher? No, it looks like we're sitting at 86 even. I believe that is good between... Yes. So we're going to just add our yeast in there. And I've got a little bit left at the bottom there. I'm going to give this one more good mixture. There we go. That smells stupid sweet, but we'll see how it tastes here in a few days. Alright. So I'm going to add what's left of my Star San here into a bubbler. There we go. And we have our lid, which we have sterilized. It is happy. I will give it one more spray just for good measure. There we go. Shake it out. Add that onto the bucket. Make sure the outside of this is sterilized because it's going to be touching in there, and throw some up in there. That sits right down in the black hole in the lid of the bucket. It's actually got a little bit too much Star San in it. Drain some of that out. There we go. Alright. And that is that. I will see you guys here in a few days as we check on it.